This is the AudioVisual Podcast. Take a journey with your host, Kyle Dean. Explore captivating stories, insights, and experiences from diverse professionals that ignite your own creative spark. Welcome to a world beyond audiovisual. Welcome to the AudioVisual Podcast.
You're listening to the AudioVisual Podcast. Kyle Dean here with you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all the social media channels. And today we're here with an awesome guest, and all my guests are awesome, but this one's even more awesome. I swear it is. She looks at me like, what are you talking about? I am with here, Kayla Goetz. And Kayla, what's your official title that we should call you? Like financial guru or moneymaker, or what do you think?
Mom, wife, financial advisor, all the things.
All the things.
Yeah.
Okay. See, that works. See, that sounds so much better than mine. Actually, mine sounded pretty cool.
You were very cool. You had likes and subscriptions,
okay,
and I don't have any of that.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. You have a Facebook page.
Do I?
Yeah, well,
I do.
I
See,
know.
I'm really bad at the whole social media thing. So
it's changed that much. It's changed a lot. So pretty soon, is AI going to be doing my financial stuff?
No. No.
I wouldn't trust it in a heartbeat.
Well, there's always going to be a behavioral issue to that.
True.
Like humans are always going to want to push the button at the wrong time, so they'll always need.
Yes. So I'm glad for people like you that help everybody get on the right track.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm. So, welcome on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. This is my first one.
This is your first one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
First one of many, or your last one after dealing with me?
We're going to find out. So far, we're good. I'm excited.
And we're bringing it on the road now, so it's just like we're going to see how it works with all the video aspect of recording and see how it works.
Okay.
So I'm excited. Thank you for kind of bearing with me, trying to figure out all the logistics here to get set up. But I'm excited. And if you've listened to the podcast, I don't know if you have, with all that travel time that you've had lately.
Oh, he puts out the travel time right at the beginning. Yes, I've been on vacation a few times in the last month and a half.
And that's good.
It's lovely.
You everybody needs a little mental break every now and then.
Yes.
Yes. So, so I won't pull that card anymore then, I guess. So what I usually do for starting things out is doing rapid fire questions, just to break the ice, to really get to know you in a different aspect. So
sure.
Not really on the professional side, more on the, I guess, personal side, if that's okay.
I love it.
So I did send you these questions. I know you looked at them, so you're ready to roll for rapid fire questions. Her face is like, what are you doing, Kyle?
He's being very kind to me right now.
Very kind.
Yeah.
I'm always kind.
I didn't look at those questions.
You
So
didn't
this
look
is
at
going to
it?
be real time.
You're real time?
Yep, real
Love it.
time.
I gave you the first one. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. First rapid fire question. What's your favorite color?
Black.
Black?
Black.
Why black? I've never heard that one before.
You've never heard black?
I've heard, I haven't heard black so far for any of my guests.
It's classy.
It's classy
Yes, and timeless.
and timeless, and it goes with everything.
Everything.
There you go. Black. Love it. If you had to eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so if you ever go to Fargo, there is this salad place in Fargo, and it's called Crisp and Green.
Crisp and Green.
It's a franchise.
Okay.
I would eat their harvest salad every day.
Every day?
It's so good. Got like some squash, some chicken, some arugula, some rice.
I don't even know what arugula is.
Well,
that's a fun word to say.
Yes,
arugula.
Yes, but like you have to finish it up though with like a scotcheroo.
So the scotcheroo is included with the meal?
No, I just made.
That's how you would.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
if you asked me what I would have to eat every day, it would be that salad, but then finish
Dessert.
it up with a scotcheroo.
Well, there you go.
Right.
That's a unique one too. Arugula.
Arugula.
Can you explain what that is?
It's like a lettuce. It's like it's like a green. I just bought it at the grocery store for the first time. I'm going to try to recreate the salad when I get home.
Oh man.
It's probably not going to go so hot.
You never know.
Yeah.
Or
no.
it could be the best thing ever.
It could. See,
Yeah.
you are definitely an optimist.
That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So we need those people around.
Yep.
Yeah. What is your favorite movie or TV show?
Favorite movie or TV show?
It could be both of them. It could be just one or the other, whatever you think.
Ooh, okay. So favorite movie series
Okay.
would be Rocky.
Rocky?
Yep.
Do you go up and down the steps every morning and with the song? Dun, 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 dun?
Oh, it's on my playlist.
Okay.
So like when I'm really tired and I need a little boost, Eye of the Tiger is on my playlist. No joke. No, I love underdog stories, and Rocky's series is it's classic.
Awesome. And that includes the newer ones with Creed and all that? Because he was in, Sylvester Stallone was in a few of those.
Yeah, I get that, but the Creed is a completely different series in my mind.
Okay.
So like it ends with Rocky 6 with me.
Okay.
So when, his wife passes and it's just him and they go back in time and they relive their marriage, and
wow.
It's lovely.
So we should do movie reviews on Rocky.
We totally could.
You could start a podcast about Rocky.
Yes.
There you go.
But I don't know a lot about boxing, so like
That's
it would have to be the complete like actual relationship aspect of it, like between his trainer and him, and like all the things.
Perfect.
So,
Rocky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a TV show then, or you just want to throw that out for Rocky? I know TV shows probably change so much with all the binging now that people can do.
Oh, I know.
It's like
crazy.
Like that one show, but then 10 years later, it's like, hey, I remember that show from 20 years ago.
So like the show that I can throw on, watch, know all the words all the time is a classic female, anybody that's in their late 30s and 40s, it's Sex and the City.
Oh, gee.
All day long.
HBO, right?
HBO.
Back in the day?
Oh, gosh,
Did they reboot that one too?
They did. It's called Just Like That.
So
they did a reboot.
That is so
on HBO.
You wouldn't even know it was rebooted then.
You really don't. They start back up, and I mean they're older now. They're a decade older, but it's still fabulous.
Wow. So you had HBO back in the day then to watch it, or you
I bought it on DVDs like normal humans. Remember when you could buy series?
DVD.
That's right, Kyle.
What's that?
DVDs.
I remember Blu-ray. No, I remember both of them.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what a VHS is too then?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I did not have a VHS, but I had a VHS of like Titanic and like all the Disney movies.
Those are worth a lot of money now. The
are
Disney
they?
ones.
Yeah,
yep. If they're in that plastic case.
Oh, the plastic case.
They're worth a lot now. By the way, be kind, rewind.
I know, they don't even know. Yeah, the kids don't know what that is.
No, they don't. It is kind of sad. Mm-hmm. That's how times have changed. What is your go-to karaoke song? or what's your favorite song?
Oh my goodness, did you just hit a chord there?
Okay, are you singing it?
No.
Nobody wants to ever.
Yeah, no. I love me some karaoke.
Okay.
Like good karaoke music.
Okay.
Okay, so my go-to karaoke song has to be Okay, so give me a second because it's by Cher, and just If I Could Turn Back Time.
Okay.
Do you know that song?
Yes, I do. I do.
So Cher, If I Could Turn Back Time, Madonna, Like a Virgin, or give me some country. Like if I could do some Sugarland, that's a good time.
Oh, so not even classic country, really.
Yeah,
Sugarland's more modern.
I like Sugarland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got a little smorgasbord of everything.
Oh, everything, yes.
Okay. Karaoke night coming up next.
Yep.
Yeah. What's your favorite game? It could be a board game, video game, anything like that.
My favorite game.
Yeah. So is there board games you play with the fam, or no? You don't play board games with the fam?
We don't. We're gonna try to.
Okay.
We're starting.
And we've started too.
Yeah. But like when you have 3 kids and it's 15, 7, and 5.
And all competitive.
Mm-hmm. We've learned now that we're better at like relays.
Oh, really?
Like we'll push things aside, like tables and couches, and we'll just like have the kids race or do something or tie their, hands together and whoever wins, it's so pathetic. Whoever wins gets $1 because my kids are motivated by money.
Well, that makes sense.
And I want to spend time with them. And so if I just went upstairs and said, hey guys, we're gonna play a game, they'll all groan, right? Because they're all on their tablets, one's in their room.
Yes, yeah.
But if I go, hey, we're gonna go play a game for money, they're like, yes. What are we doing?
Even for $1.
Even for $1.
Well, you don't get much for $1 anymore.
Well, and I get like 2 hours of time with my whole family, and
there you go.
It's $25 probably, and they think that it's the greatest thing. So we do that a lot.
Love it. That's very creative. I love that.
You can't do anything with your family for $25 for 2 hours in town.
No, you only can go to a movie by yourself for $25 barely.
Absolutely.
Barely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's if you get like the prime time of movies too. That's barely that. Mm-hmm. What is your most used emoji?
I don't text.
You don't text?
I don't text a lot.
You don't text a lot. So no emojis, no thumbs up, no smiley face.
Okay. It would have to be the smiley face because it's old school smiley face.
Yeah.
Like the colon and like the little thing.
Yeah.
That's how.
Oh, so you're going old school with emojis then?
Yeah.
You actually have to type it in.
Yeah. I know. This girl, when she has her hand on her head, I do that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that could be one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I just figured out that you could like put like little like emotional like things to a text. Like you don't actually text them back, but you can like put a ha.
Yep.
Like on what they said.
Yep.
Yeah, I just figured that out.
Welcome to 2023.
I know.
Yes. You're about many years behind,
I know,
but
it's
you're doing
really
good. You're
bad.
doing good. Yeah, I'm glad you stick with what you're good at, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Financial side.
Yeah.
If you had to delete all but 3 apps from your smartphone, which ones would you keep? You got to use a smartphone. Do you know what a smartphone is?
I do.
Yes.
I do know what a smartphone is.
No, I'm just being mean.
3 apps that
you had to keep.
Well, of course you need to have like, Safari or
okay. Oh, a browser.
A browser.
Okay.
Is that,
I'll give you that one.
Is that what it's called?
I'll
Browser.
give you that one.
Okay.
Yep.
I gotta have a browser.
Yep. Is there like a weather app, a financial app, a banking app?
No.
No.
I like me some Pinterest.
Okay.
And okay, so I have to take it off my phone regularly because I have a rabbit hole problem.
Oh no. Is
so
it TikTok?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't even have TikTok.
Okay.
I don't have like what's that other one? Snapchat
Or Instagram. They all have those now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do have Facebook.
Okay.
But I have to take Facebook off of my phone on a regular basis because the reels that are up top.
Correct. Just like the good old TikTok.
Oh my
Facebooks.
goodness.
Yep.
I will go down the rabbit hole of those reels like no other. And I'll look up and it's been like 3 hours and I'm like, where am I? And so Facebook would have to be one of them, but I would have to mind myself. Like,
You actually have to pay attention on.
Yeah.
Make sure you're like, what time is it? Oh, there was a time change this weekend?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. You got
Pinterest, browser,
Facebook.
/ like Amazon, because
Okay.
I do a lot of my shopping there. And
Okay.
then, yeah.
Okay. And then Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. What would you rather sleep in late or take a long nap at midday?
Oh, I'm a long napper.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love naps. After growing up, and I've told this to other guests, it's just like I hated naps, and now I'm like, naps are awesome.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So I don't know what's
Don't
wrong.
get to do it very often, but it's amazing when you get to have one.
We're just in the season with young kids.
Absolutely.
Yep, and naps are going to be there before you know it. What would your superpower be, and why?
What would my superpower be?
If you haven't known, in the last decade, superhero movies have been pretty big.
It's getting personal. I like to time travel.
That would be interesting.
Yep. So I really am a curious human being when it comes to people.
Okay.
So, like, obviously in the profession I'm in,
Yep.
I listen to people's stories all day long, and you have to have a genuine interest in other human beings.
Yep.
And so because I'm just naturally curious, I'd love to like go back in time or go into the future or whatnot.
So would you be a Marty McFly and go get a MacGuffin and then try the bet on sports? Okay.
Absolutely would I do that because you have to do it in style.
Yeah.
So I would totally cheat the system.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
That is actually a very powerful one that you said. So that's a good one. I'll give you that one. Props for that. And then last but not least, who is your hero?
Who's my hero?
Who's your hero?
Oh my goodness. I have like many of them.
Oh, that's fine. Most of them do. Most of them have like one or two or three.
Can I just sum them all up?
Sure. I'll allow that.
Okay, so I'm just going to call them.
You're not getting graded. Just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a deep respect for women that have come before me because I'm going to call, just because each of us have different life experiences that we've had to evolve from in history. So any trailblazing professional woman, any trailblazing stay-at-home mom,
Okay.
any trailblazing housewife. Because what if you're just a fur mama, you know?
Oh, with
You just
with
have like
cats
you
and
have a
dogs
husband and you have fur babies and
Yep.
you know he has enough financially that he can support both of you.
Yep.
I think throughout time, my male counterparts have not had to evolve like us have.
Okay.
Don't like he's looking at me, you guys. Like,
No,
what are you talking about?
No, I'm not.
But I really feel that trailblazing women would be my hero.
Yeah.
Just because it is something that you can look back at, you can mimic, but then you can evolve it to meet what you want to.
Okay.
Because I always want to leave something behind. I always want to make an impact. I want to be able to share that wisdom. And so, you know, I have women that I look up to in my personal life, in my family, in my friends, in my professional world, and they're women. And I get to learn from them, grow with them, and they're supportive. So like,
Which is good.
Yeah,
Great to hear. Yeah.
Right. You can't see it, but in here I have a picture that says great women support great women support great women.
Yep.
You're not a great woman unless you support other women. And really other male counterparts too.
You don't have, yeah.
We don't want to bring you down.
No.
No, I absolutely support my, you know, male counterparts, and I adore them, and I also learn from them.
It's just the history of
It's just the
looking at everything.
history
Yep.
of the trailblazing that they're not necessarily heroes to me like my female counterparts are.
Well, that's a good answer.
There you go.
That you did very well. Good job. So that was rapid fire questions here with Kayla Goetz before we dive into the meat of the interview now.
Ooh, I love it. Okay.
Yes. Well, Kayla, it's that was a fun time with rapid fire questions that you looked over. Yes.
I thought I looked over them quite well.
You
Thank you.
you did. They were great. The hero one was really good.
That was a little long-winded.
But it was really good answer.
You know, I could have just said great women,
Yeah,
and that would have summed it up. But
it could have, but
Yeah.
the way you explained it and show that how the time and the history does impact to where women are today too.
absolutely.
So no, you explained everything great on that. So now we get to dive in. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So one thing that I really wanted to interview you about, just because you've had a lot of experience here helping other individuals or couples, you know, get on the right financial track. My first question though is, what made you really focus to get into a financial career? Like, is there anything that really, like, did you know right out of high school, out of college or anything?
Absolutely not.
No? So, and because did you change careers before?
Yep.
And so kind of just start at the beginning there, like maybe college or anywhere that kind of what you had set on, but how it became to where you are now.
Okay. So I went to college for interior design. That lasted probably 2 years. School was not my forte. Back then, visual learning wasn't like a thing.
Okay.
You know, you had a textbook and, you know, we were just talking before the podcast that these portals and online portals and doing school online, and that was not what I did.
Yep.
I loved art, but interior design was just, school was just not my thing.
Yep.
So I was working and going to school trying to find, I did like multimedia studies. But even at the age of like 23, still wasn't done with school. I always had a great work ethic though.
Okay.
So I always had, 2 or 3 jobs, always in service. So I've worked at Quiznos, I've worked at Taco John's, I've worked at, Choice Hotels, and like all the things.
I'm hungry now, by the way.
Yeah. Well, it is, it's 10:30.
It's 10:30.
It's fine. Second breakfast.
We're hobbits.
Right.
I love it.
And so is that where it comes from?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Lord of the Rings.
See, that was in my subconscious. I love those movies, Lord of the Rings. And I always tell my kids, second breakfast.
Second breakfast. And
so
make
funny.
sure you watch the extended editions.
Okay,
Continue.
I'm kind of like a squirrel, so you're going to have to.
I love getting off track. We can talk Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Podcast Lord of the Rings coming up soon.
Fun.
Yes. Continue. Okay, so working a couple jobs. Yep.
Working a couple jobs. I was going to school, probably part-time, and I ended up getting pregnant. Mm-hmm. And I had my wonderful daughter, Haley, so now 24. Her dad and I lived in a small town just south of Fargo, Horace, and I worked at a furniture store, which was a great combo. Okay, so I designed a little bit. I got to still be with people, service industry. And if you didn't know, furniture salesmen could make pretty good money.
Yeah, it's like you get a commission off a couch. That's
right.
$2,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yes, do you work nights and weekends? But I made pretty decent living back then. Like I think, $40,000 was like a decent living back then.
That if you think about it with today's day and age. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so doing that, we had her 6 months old. Prior to this event happening in my life, I really didn't have financial savvy.
Okay. Yep.
At all. Like it was typically paycheck to paycheck to paycheck.
You were just really trying to, you're making ends meet and that's all that matters right now.
Like my mom always taught me how to budget.
Okay. That's half the battle.
Half the battle. Yep. She told me, don't you ever get a credit card. And so I didn't do those things when I was in college because like what my mom said was pretty much gospel. And so no financial background. We'll just sit there. Okay.
That works. Yeah. Okay.
Well, then Haley is 6 months old and her dad passes away.
Big life event.
It was big. My whole family lived back here in Minot.
Okay.
And I was by myself in Fargo. And it was hard because, he took his own life. So I was dealing with emotional things on top of financial things, and the family that you create with other people in their 20s, I'd like to think that they haven't had enough life experiences to understand what suicide can do. And so there was a lot of blaming, a lot of guilt, and I had to raise a 6-month-old little girl. So when that happened, we weren't married, but we had a lot of things together. We had a house, had a mortgage, had those student loans, and I just kind of was lost, grieving. I had great support from my family. Like I remember I moved home for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. And thank goodness they were close by.
Oh, absolutely.
4-hour drive is nothing. Yeah.
It must have been the longest 4-hour drive for my parents ever.
Well, yeah.
And so after he passed, I moved home for like 3 weeks. And then moved back to Fargo.
Okay.
Because my job was there. I didn't have a lot of friends left after he passed because, again, we just weren't mature enough to understand, and they needed someone to blame, so they blamed me. So a lot of learning about yourself in a quick time. I tell Haley all day long, even at 15, you saved my life. Because I could have gone down a very different road. But because I had her as my purpose and I wanted her to look at me and have a standard that preceded what I felt was my ability. So I think it was it Matthew McConaughey? It was probably Matthew McConaughey in one of his speeches.
Okay.
One of his heroes is his future self.
I think I've seen this
Right?
before. Was that at a college
Yes.
ceremony?
Yes.
That he did? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
And
yep.
so he talks about his future self, and he thanks his future self. And I saw that back, in my early 20s.
Yep. And he was big back then.
It's super big.
Yep.
Right. And it really resonated with me that if I could act better, grow more, then my daughter would be able to see it. Okay. So funny story happened. And I'm a very spiritual girl. Okay. So Christian girl, I believe that there's a plan for everybody. But we all have free will. So I was selling furniture probably 5 weeks after he had passed back in Fargo. Haley and I are living at a hotel.
Okay.
Because it happened at our place and I didn't want to go back.
Understandable.
Right?
Yep.
So we're living at a hotel and in walks this amazingly dressed, put together woman.
Okay.
Okay. And she tells me that they're building this new house and she wants to redecorate the entire thing and she needs my help.
Wow.
So we go through and we decorate her whole entire house. Decorate, not design, because I just had furniture and pictures and pillows, right? There's a big distinct difference between an interior designer and an interior director.
And I would not know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So don't ever call an interior designer a decorator because you might get punched.
Good to know.
Right.
Future interview coming up with both of them.
Right.
Yes.
So she came in, we did her whole house, and then in walked her husband, and I will never forget his name was Mai. Mai stood 5 feet tall, maybe.
Okay.
Little Korean man. Okay. In a suit. We're talking a suit.
So ZZ Top's sharp dressed man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was. He was. But he said, my wife was super impressed with you. And I'd like to talk to you about possibly changing your career. And I go, okay, what? Well, have you ever thought of insurance? And yes. I'm like, yeah,
That's a different career, I keep hearing.
Yeah. I don't want to go down your rabbit hole. I have a really good thing going. And he goes, well, I'm talking about life insurance. And I didn't know what life insurance was.
And that's a lot of people don't.
No, not at 23, 24.
No.
And so he didn't even know that Kyle had passed. His wife was just very impressed with how he took care of her. And so I decided that, once I found out what life insurance was and there was something that we could have had, financially, it would have been better for us. It would never bring him back. But the grieving process could have been longer.
Because of all the little details.
And everything. I probably wouldn't have had to go back to work right away. We could have not stayed in a hotel that I, had a good friend that worked there. So I got a great discount. But
at least you had that connection. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So he took me in. I started working for him. And him and his staff, once they got to hear my story, I'm sure there was a point where he was like, ooh, I kind of made a mistake. You're not really as intelligent as
really
we thought, because I didn't know.
Okay.
I had no idea what an IRA was. I had no idea what insurance was. I couldn't even write an email.
I think the most normal people don't even know what IRA or any of that is, though, too.
It's true.
I mean, I would have not known either.
Well, and yeah. IRA, individual retirement account.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a retirement account that you can set up yourself. Employers do 401ks, but all this stuff, I had no idea.
Yep.
Okay. So he hired me. I worked for him for a while, and he taught me the basic financial literacy that you're never taught at a young age. And it's not a dig at school systems or universities or my parents. It's just something that was very hush-hush with their generation. And I just don't think that they have found, like, there's no textbook thing, right? And that, like, one way to do it. There's no one way to do it.
And I think that's the biggest process is, like, I think when you buy a car or buy a house, they don't teach you that stuff in high school that you will probably use in life.
Right.
And maybe only once or twice or 3 times or something, but it's still a huge commitment.
Huge commitment. Yep. The people don't see the debt. They don't see the full debt. Like if you take out a mortgage, they're looking at the monthly payment. They don't understand the fine print of that interest that, over 30 years, you actually paid double for your house that you would have if you just would have lowered the term.
Yep.
Right. And so on the flip side, most people just like to put money in savings accounts. They don't understand that if they put their money in the market, over time, the money will grow a lot more because of compounding interest.
And people are probably afraid of the market just
completely.
Because it's in the news a lot. You see the red numbers going down. You see the green.
Right.
You see the red.
Right.
Yeah. It's just how one and one together.
Yes.
Yep.
And so my story getting into this industry was more on, I have to tell people about this. It affected me personally. And I also had to provide for my little girl. And so you put those, fires underneath someone, and then a personal experience, the drive was out of this world. Like I wanted to talk to everybody. When I felt like not getting up in the morning and doing it, I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it for the person who didn't know. I was doing it for the surviving spouse that had 3 kids that, oh my goodness. And it didn't matter what age. It doesn't matter what age you're at. When you lose a spouse or you lose someone close to you and you are financially in it with them, it's detrimental. I don't care how much money you have.
Money doesn't solve problems.
No, it makes
help.
it easier.
Yeah, it can help in many ways.
And that's where, life insurance comes in.
Yep.
It can make it easier for you to go through the emotions that you must process to get on the other side in a healthy manner. And so that was my start.
A very turbulent start.
Very turbulent.
Doubt.
Oh, gosh, yeah. So then I lived in Fargo, and I worked for this guy, and then decided it was a commission job.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because life insurance.
Yeah.
Selling life insurance.
Oh, yeah.
For commit. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So imagine you go door to door back then.
Yeah, totally different now.
Yep. Door to door.
Totally different. Yep.
Knocking on the door at 24 years old in Moorhead, Minnesota, which is like right across the river from Fargo.
Yep.
And I remember I would hire a sitter to, and she was only like 16 or like 15.
Yep. That's when
she could. Okay, let's be real.
Started.
We're going to be honest. She was probably 13, right? Because I couldn't afford, I needed someone super cheap.
Yeah.
But she would sit in the car with Haley. So the 13-year-old would come with me in the car, sit with Haley, and I would knock on doors.
I bet she has an experience to tell, too.
I bet she does.
I bet she does.
Like, Stephanie, if you're out there.
Stephanie, a shout out, though, at the same time.
Look me up. And it just wasn't working. So I went with a more established insurance company where they could pay me 8 to 5. And I went to like $10 an hour where I got a income and it wasn't commission. And that actually brought me back to Minot. So I worked for that lady in Fargo for about 2 years. And then when Haley was 4, moved back to Minot, worked for the same company. And I wanted to have my own insurance firm, like entrepreneurial spirit, like learned all the basics in Fargo. And now I'm like, yes, let's talk. I got like the taste of like, helping people. And then having your finances, the more you talk to people, it's a numbers game. And the more money you're going to make. So financially, I was doing a lot better than I was doing when, he passed away. And so from the insurance company, a lot of things happened. It's a corporate world. So it didn't work out at the insurance company, but then I banked at this regional bank here in Minot, and they were hiring a financial advisor.
Yep.
And I saw life insurance. I'm like, well, I got my life insurance. I know all about that.
That's halfway.
I got it, right?
Yeah.
So I interviewed, no college degree, no licenses to do securities or investing in the stock market, just my life insurance. And the guy who hired me, he took a chance on me, and I studied. And
because it's an investment for them too.
Oh yeah, a complete investment. It takes time to study for those tests. It's not just study 24 hours. I mean, I studied for 8 weeks. It was a lot.
And then if you fail the test, you have to retake it and spend money again.
Absolutely, and you can't take it for like 30 or 60 days, correct, I think, or something like that.
Yep.
Right. So that was back in 2013. So got all licensed. The regional bank that I worked for had no investment department. Like I was one of the first.
Okay.
So you had to create it from the ground up.
Which is probably sounds exciting at the same time.
Super exciting.
Like some people would be like, yes.
Because anything goes.
Yeah.
Anything goes. Any idea you bring to the table, they're going to look at. Right. So I had to figure out how to bring clients in because I didn't have any. And I just took the one thing that I knew that really interests me, and that was people. And I started to get to know people. And then I started to share with them what I can do. And you learned along the way. You learned on the way what worked, what didn't work. There was a lot of trial and error, not with people's money, but just verbiage.
Yes.
To get your point across,
Because they're trusting you now.
Absolutely.
To invest where you think should be the best.
Yes.
Invest into.
Yes.
Yep.
And so I spent a career doing that in the meantime for like 8 years at that regional bank. In the meantime, I had 2 more kids. I got married. And then, it was time for me to have my own business.
Because you were gung-ho, ready to go. And it's just like, okay, well, you're glad you learned what you did. And it seems like just hearing your story, you were at the bottom and you had to learn all this, but it seems like those connections, your faith and everything connected and how it needed to get where you're at now.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I truly believe that my purpose in life is to build people's confidence. I tell anybody that wants to be in a financial planning role, the one quality you must have is selflessness, because it has nothing to do with you. You have to walk into the office every single day, take yourself off the table, and focus on the other person across the desk from you. And some people can do that naturally. Some people can't. The investment side, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Furniture sales, investments, insurance, education. Selflessness is the one thing that I think a lot of people would gain happiness by doing.
And I've noticed like the people aspect, and I've interviewed a lot of people here throughout, my radio and through now podcasting, but I've just noticed that people skills are important. Communication skills are important to really get to know people, and then you can help them even further. Just because your experiences help, but really sitting down and listening to them really helps out your side too. So it's just kind of your story is it is amazing, but at the same time, it's a learning curve of what you have to go through, and it's awesome that you're helping other people out so they don't have to go through that.
It's my purpose. It's what I love to do. It's a hobby. I am very lucky that I get up every day and I get to go to work, and it's my hobby. It's my favorite thing to do, to the point where, back in the regional bank days when I was building the investment department with the other advisors, there was a lot of times my husband had to tell me, you are a workaholic. You are at work all day and you come home and work and you are missing out. And he really had to remind me, it's Saturday.
Yep.
Calm down. I was building the department. And so there was a lot of times back then that my husband, Cody, had to tell me to calm down. Like, you are being a workaholic. You go to work every day. You come home and work. And you work on the weekends. Like, you need to have a good life-work balance. And for me, work was my life. To this day, if you ask me, I have 4 kids. My career, Haley, Kelby, and Nash. And I know that sounds awful, but I think there's a lot of females out there that if you have built something that you are proud of, that it becomes one of your kids. Very much so does. You care for it, you love it, you nurture it. If the business isn't doing well, it affects you. It's like, if Kelby's sad, I'm sad. If Haley's not having a good day, I'm not having a good day. And so that brings us to, how I wanted to open up, have my own practice, my own place to call my own, where I could call the shots. And so, I moved 2 years ago from the regional bank and I opened my own shop, and it has really been eye-opening, challenging. I have a deep respect for the decisions I did not have to make at that regional bank that I now have to make. I realize that it is a challenge that is difficult, but I love a challenge.
You never back down, it seems like, because I've known you for almost 10 years, I think.
That's
now.
true. I know.
Yeah, both my wife and I for about 10 years.
Yes.
I believe so.
Well,
yeah.
You and your wife, you're like one of my favorites. I like.
We started pretty much right when we got married.
Just youngins.
Yep, and I didn't know anything about it because I was probably I was that college kid that probably
you totally were.
I had like enough in the bank just in case where I could splurge
you
maybe
had an
for one thing.
emergency savings, and that is exactly what your wife would call it.
Yes.
You're like, in my emergency savings we have this, and I'm like, what? Because how old are you guys now?
We're at 33, both of us are. But I have to say, my wife was the financial guru compared to
fabulous.
I know compared to what I was to where she is now. It's all her for sure that really started me on that track, and then getting advice has always been very helpful too.
But you have to oh my goodness. I don't know where she got her wisdom from or you got your wisdom from, but even at young ages, I like to tell, my family and friends that my clients teach me so much stuff, so much stuff. And I try to, I don't have any amazing thing that I do my own. I just steal from everybody else. So when I see this young couple in their early 20s concerned about not having,
a certain amount of emergency fund.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh. I think I need to teach that. That's very smart. And so there's certain tricks and evolving that you do through planning and that you learn in your career. It's not just a one-stop shop. Here, this is what you do. It's tailored to every family. because every family has something that they're not confident with.
And I would say that things have changed so much now with younger people that when we were at that age. People are not getting married like we were really young.
No.
Not having kids really young or anything. And that is even changed from my parents' age, I would say. That was even younger than what my wife and I did. So it's an evolving time, which probably makes it more difficult for you in some ways to really see how financial aspect is changing each time. But then it's a challenge that you love to really say, oh, okay, well, you can start saving anytime or start your financial journey anytime.
Right.
Yep.
So like you asked me at the beginning of the podcast, is AI going to take over my job?
Yes. And
no, but we are going to 100% work in partnership.
And AI is a tool.
It's just a tool.
It is a huge tool.
It's not a relationship.
Nope.
It is a tool. It cannot tell what you are uncomfortable with or what keeps you up at night. A human being can.
Yes.
And there's never going to be on this earth a connection like two human beings.
Yep.
I don't care how great AI gets.
And I with this podcast, just with AI, I use it as a tool. It helps with editing. It helps get social media out. I mean, it's there. I mean, it's one of those things where it's another thing we're going to have to figure out, because when social media came out, that was something different.
Yes.
And now, that's just crazy. You and I both can say we remember the days without social media.
Right.
And that's not common anymore because everybody in high school is born when everything was kind of electronic. So
like, are things going to change? Yes. But I'm super optimistic about it.
Of course.
Because as long as you keep in your mind that it is a tool for the future, really right now, then we'll be fine.
Yep. And it's going to change again in 5 more years.
And the kids love it.
Yep, they do.
Like, I can't sit and chit chat with someone that's 19 about a Excel spreadsheet. Or I have my clients who are in their 80s that will bring out the paper Excel spreadsheets.
Oh, classic.
I love it.
Classic.
Where they have like their stocks and like what they bought for it and like what they're
I've seen that.
Oh, for
I've
years,
seen that.
years, right? With the kids, it's different. So it's like, okay, so get on this app and this is what you can do. And this is how you make it automated. This is why you're doing it. They're all about the why. Why are we doing it? Which I think is great because we're now asking the question, why? If you look at our grandparents, they would work their whole life at one company and they'd get this retirement pension and Social Security, right? And not, even question. That's just
what it was.
That's what it was.
Yep.
So then you have our parents. Okay. So our parents, still in a generation that
one job usually.
Usually.
Yep.
But then, I'm not saying that our parents got greedy because I didn't have anything growing up. Did you?
Not. I say we're
normal.
Normal.
Right.
We lived, didn't have to worry.
Right.
So at least I didn't think so because I don't know what.
I still thought it was a treat to go to McDonald's.
Oh yeah, by far.
Right.
Yeah. Sundays after church went to Hardee's all the time.
All the time, right? Like that was the thing. We like my car. I think my parents spent a couple grand on.
And then they kept the cars.
Oh yes.
Yes, and that's the one thing I've noticed too. The cars are changing every 3 years, leases or whatever. But I like the aspect of keeping it a little, probably not as long as we had it back in the day, because you kept a car until it's dead.
Oh, absolutely.
Now it's changed to where gotta get the new and best thing 2 years down the road.
Oh, see, I'm bringing the oldies back. Yeah, like I'm out there. I don't drive a new car, and sometimes like is there some things that happen with the cars? Sure, but. That's why you have a great relationship with your auto mechanic. But I just think that we have to evolve as human beings to relate to the younger generation because they're smarter and quicker than we were, just like we were smarter and quicker than the generation before us. And so the sooner that, we start listening, and I think every industry is going to have a very optimistic future.
Yes.
You know.
Yep. Well, it's been awesome to really talk a little bit about your story, and we can always dive in a little bit more later on, because honestly, the knowledge that you have financial wise or anything, we could have several episodes that could go on based on, car buying. That's huge. House buying, stocks, anything like that. Well, my last question here, just to wrap it up, is do you have anything else to add for the listeners or anything like that? It could be quick advice that you kind of did there. Is there any other thing that we can just hit on really quick before we wrap it up?
Like if I had to leave something behind, like wisdom at this age, and I'm 39.
29. Yep.
29. Always be willing to learn and grow into a better version of yourself. And any day that you can impact someone on a positive level is what we're supposed to do as humans. No matter what you do, have pride in anything you do.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Because
I'm a special circumstance. My dad likes to say I just don't know how to fail. I very have much failed in my life. Like I'm a C student. Like
well, that just shows your drive, your grit. Yeah.
But drive and grit are not for everybody. Nope. There's nothing wrong with someone that is very content. Going to work every day, doing the best job they can. You don't have to be, have your name on the door. It is just a platform that I really wanted to get to so I could, mentor others that come after me, just like I've looked up to the heroes that have mentored me.
And thank you for what you do.
You're welcome.
You've helped many people. I already know that. So as you give that face like, okay, stop, Kyle, stop.
It is a pleasure. It has been so much fun, even with you and your wife and your kids, just to watch you guys, you grew up with me. Yeah. Because I wasn't, right. You're like 7 years younger than me. That's not.
We're both 29.
Right.
We're all 29.
All of us.
Yep,
all of us are 29, right?
Yep, not the kids.
Not the kids.
Yeah, we're stuck at 29.
But it had to have been fun from your guys' standpoint to watch me, because I was 24. Well, when you guys met me, I was 28. So 28, and watch me grow as an advisor as well.
Yeah, we were, I would like to say we were almost there in the beginning side of everything.
You were?
Pretty dang close.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, open up these accounts. It's going to be great. It's fabulous. And then I'm like, how do I make them do this? Okay, they have the spreadsheet, and the whole time I'm like, this woman is on the ball. Kelsey knows what she's doing.
Yes, shout out to my wife again.
Like, oh my goodness, look at this. She has a balance sheet. She's 22. So
I didn't have any of that. So shout out to her. Well, Kayla, thank you very much for what you do. And
you're so welcome.
We will have to probably do this again and dive into probably a specific topic. Maybe, maybe Lord of the Rings or Rocky or anything.
It. Yes. Or Rocky.
Or Rocky.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, or we can just have karaoke sessions.
There we go.
That would probably be
number one.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to sing too. I'm not going to be the only one.
I got to pick a song then, or a couple songs.
You have to.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So stay tuned for that. That will probably never happen, but okay. I guess never say never on that. Right. So there, I'll sing Justin Bieber. Never say never.
Oh, perfect.
I don't even know if that's a song from him. I don't know either. All right. Thank you once again for tuning into the AudioVisual Podcast. Once again, follow, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff for the podcast. Social media. Yeah, you got to love it. All that social media stuff. All the stuff.
Got to do it.
Thank you very much, Kayla, and enjoy. Yes. I'm Kyle Dean, and thank you for tuning in. Have a good one.